Hello. Today we are with Thomas. Thomas, how are you?
Hello, Paco. I'm doing well. Thank you very much for the invitation. And also hello to all the friends of Kabbalah.
Thank you very much. We are doing this interview in German because Thomas is actually from Germany, right? I invited him because I would actually like you to tell us how your analysis with Kabbalah is going. This is a bit different from what we usually do.
Yes, well, the KABBALAH Life Analysis is a work that a friend of mine developed, Hermann Schweier. He was with various Kabbalah teachers in Germany and Switzerland around 1990, from 1990 in seminars, and especially with Mr. Hosbach, Johannes Hosbach, who was very active, and with a Mr. Muller. And he attended seminars, and people shared a lot. The seminar leaders shared all the life paths and calculated the things. And then he went home afterward and forgot it in 5 days. Hermann is by profession a computer programmer, so he learned computer programming, but he is now already 87 years old, so a bit older. And he said he wants to do something where people can take all these texts from the Kabbalah home with them, where they have all the values in a book, where the values are calculated correctly. The Kabbalah calculations are not simple, they are complicated, and the computer can calculate and compute very well. And it should be affordable for people so that everyone can afford it. And so Hermann here, I have a copy here, I don't know if you can see it. This is now my KABBALAH Life Analysis. So it has become a book that has, let's say, approximately 50 pages. So as we see here, the energy image for Thomas Friedel Hessel, that's me and my birth date. We have here symbolically the little figure in the middle and various inflows. We assume that we have set out from another perspective to learn for this life. Various learning tasks, for example, being loving instead of being right, universal connectedness, or creativity and expressive power, like for example, myself. So I have set out in this life to practice and learn this quality and this task. This is also my talent at the same time, and when I live it, then everything is good, then I am in the flow. But if I reject it, for example, because I don't like it due to upbringing, moral concepts, or childhood traumas, then this energy that flows in here, negatively noticeable in a so-called path of suffering, that is in an illness. And that's the great thing about this energy image, that there is also a psychosomatic factor. So illness is a path. What does my illness want to show me? So here I have the path of suffering X, which means problems in partnership, in relationships, or professional problems. For me, for example, it was such that I used to be a very withdrawn person, very quiet, and it didn't correspond to my life plan at all. I had intended to go out more, to be creative, to talk, to speak, to sing, for example. Those are the tasks. That's why I encountered problems in this area. As a result, for example, it also led to a separation with my partner. And then I realized, okay, that was also the point where I got to know the KABBALAH Life Analysis for myself and saw, okay, I had intended to actually live creativity. That's what I'm doing now, and now I no longer have these problems, no more relationship or career issues. So the system always assumes that we have learning tasks that we set for ourselves in the spiritual world before we came here. And of course, we forgot everything with birth. The veil of forgetfulness. We no longer know what we had planned, unfortunately. And then there's another learning task here with me that flows in, the energy for number 5. That is self-determination, a life in self-determination, individuality. And I believe if I am now here in Germany, the one who distributes these KABBALAH Life Analyses, and this software, this KABBASOL, which you also have, Paco, that I offer and sell worldwide, as the only one, then one can already say that I'm doing something unique, something individual. This is also important because otherwise there would be problems. There could be problems in this path of Passion B. So path of Passion B involves problems with mobility, for example, frequent accidents, problems with sciatica, with the hip, with the legs. Additionally, we also have the relationship here, yin and yang. You can see that with me. So that means male and female inflows, where it is simply the case that the active ones, like for example, the 4 or the 5, these are active outward directed tasks. And back here, for example, clairvoyance. These are more inward directed female tasks. This way you can also determine the balance of yang and yin in our lives.
It's somewhat similar to the tree of life, which has 2 pillars.
Yes, it's the same here. So here, as I said, the tree of life can also be applied. Here we have the masculine side, here we have the feminine side, these tasks. So you could also draw the paths here. Yes. Then you immediately have a tree of life.
Another question. These paths of passion, well, it's good that you know them, but even though you know them, there's probably always a tendency to follow these paths of passion, right?
Yes, or rather, to reject the learning task. It's not about completing learning tasks, it's about living learning tasks, because then that's where we also find our talent. Where we have our talent, that's where we are really good. But we have to dare to overcome it. And then the energy comes.
Yes. So, actually, it's about accepting them, so to speak, not avoiding them. Everything is explained quite well there.
Yes, this is just the diagram. So here we have number 4, which is then explained. Number 5 is explained. We also have the passion paths X here. This is just an overview. And all the related texts are all listed and really well organized at the back of the text in the 50 pages. You can basically read everything, flip forward and see, what was that number? And at the back of the book, all the texts or all the things are explained.
I have my book here with me. Those are 38 pages.
Yes. Now it starts, part 1, the energy image. Stop. Here. The first number 1, you have the learning task number 1. Universal connection, so for you, it is important that you gain the trust, and then comes the corresponding path of passion, so if you don't learn that, so there. And the path of passion B. So, if you have corns or always have accidents, sprain your foot often, then you must consider if you are doing enough for this learning task.
That's why paths of passion are after the tasks. Okay, I understand that.
Exactly. There are 2 more numbers that break it down better. And now comes the next learning task. Number 2. Love instead of being right. So for you, it's important to learn, as we say in Germany, to let things slide. Yes, so you might know something better when now. If you have children and you actually know that it's right to do it differently, then you just have to say nothing, just have nothing. Keep it to yourself. Yes, do you know that?
Sure, I noticed that because right here on my back, I get a kind of pain when I'm very tense. When I try to defend something very passionately, then I get pain. Okay, let it be like that. Exactly.
Yes, that's important for you. It's a learning exercise where you simply say, I know better, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether I'm right, because otherwise I honestly feel disconnected. Yes, that's true. This is the path of passion L. It has something to do with the spine and the back. Yes. Then we'll take a look like this. Yes. There are problems in the back. Once more, the explanation, more precisely. These are 2 more breakdown numbers. You just have to read them. These are also inspirations.
Okay, and I have a 3rd task.
Yes. Number 10, that's the power of completion. So bringing things to an end. Bringing things to an end. Not just checking them off, but completing them. With love and dedication, it's about dedication. And there is the path of passion X. So problems in partnership and career.
There are many possible numbers for energy, right?
Yes, those are numbers again. More numbers. These are always these traditional texts.
Yes. And then the meaning.
Here I have my Xinjiang portion.
And later, the construction of life begins. I wanted to explain a bit for the first-time viewers. This type of construction is a bit different from what we usually analyze. So, as you said, there is an origin, but that was what we experienced from birth. This is number 13. Here, the explanation, then here, at number 11. I will have something like a
turning point. Exactly there you have the age. That is a certain age. I can't read it. It is also on the diagram.
We'll look at it later then. And these are the cosmic influences. And that's the target journey then. Hermit. Exactly. Yes. And here, for the people who have no background, so there is a very good summary of everything, the tactics, and also the paths of passion, all the possible ones here. That's for the people who are experiencing something like this for the first time.
Yes, so it really is a complete book. That is also understandable for a beginner, for someone who doesn't know much yet. So everything is explained, including these explanations about all the paths are included again. And above all, this energy imager gives everyone the chance to say about the illness, okay, where do I have problems and what kind of learning task is associated with it? And that you get such a start.
Okay.
There are also different intensities, so the learning tasks can also vary in strength. So if you now have the learning task, what was your learning task? Number 10. The learning task number 10 can be that you have it with double or triple intensity. Then you have 3 points there. For me, for example, I have the learning task number 4, which we saw earlier, with double intensity. Then the path of passion is also twice as strong.
Okay. This intensity goes from 1 to 4 or 5. Is there something like structures depending on the tasks in our life construction, for example, depending on where we have this task? This is probably unique for each person, but can we create groups of structures like that? For example, the people who have all the tasks in these areas create a peculiarity or have a tendency to behave in such and such a way. Can one say something like that?
Of course, yes. You yourself said your transformation theme, your character, the path 9.
Okay, the highest tasks would then be 5 tasks, right?
No, 6 tasks. A maximum of 6 tasks, yes.
Okay.
And one can certainly say, for example, if someone now has the learning task of loving, instead of being right, so number 2, for example, then they are mostly, for example, teachers or police officers, because a teacher is allowed and must be right. Yes. So that means if someone has this task, then he is well suited for this profession, as a teacher or also as a police officer. So these are often people who always know everything better. And as a teacher, you are allowed to always know everything better.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Well, like with me, right?
Are you by any chance a teacher?
I am a teacher, exactly.
Yes.
But then to be right about these things, then I have to not do it, right? Well, not do it.
Yes, but you can be, well, you have to teach your students. You have to show what is right. But you can also do that lovingly.
Okay.
It's about connecting that and then lovingly. So in your profession, you can connect being right and teaching people something and also do it lovingly. So you are exactly in the right place.
Okay. And what about the people who, for example, only have one task or no task at all? Can that be so?
Yes, that might be someone who is simply there as help, as support for the rest of us. Like in Buddhism, there are the bodhisattvas who come here, even though they no longer have to, and do another round here. But you can't say there are people who have a task and face incredible difficulties with it. And there are people who have 5 tasks and are very relaxed. So you can't really determine it like that.
Okay. It probably depends on the intensity, right?
Also, of course, on the tree of life. With what character, what is his transformation theme? How is he on his way? For example, if now I have my theme is 11, my path 11, yes, power of belief. For me, many things, when other people start to panic or worry, I say, yes, it will be fine. And they can't understand why I'm so carefree. But I just have this power of belief, which is anchored in my character. It's incomprehensible to others.
Then you have a lot of self-confidence.
Also, and faith in God. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, Thomas. I think that has become clear, very interesting for our followers.
So to everyone who has watched or is watching now, I can really recommend it to everyone. Ask Paco. He knows his stuff. He has the program. He can create a complete book for you. So he can create and make a complete book for you. And there is definitely a lot of inspiration for everyone in the group.
Thank you, Thomas, for giving us this opportunity. And I am quite sure we will hear from the people soon. Thomas, thank you once again, and we'll see each other shortly.
Many thanks, Paco, and greetings to all the friends of Kabbalah in Spain.
Yes, sure. Goodbye.